This is the Mertz case, file 18-17404-DM. Both parties are present in court. Ms. Blaine, can you update me as to this matter, please?
Yes, sir. The defendant posted $1,400 bond at the Otsego County Jail on December 1st. We would need to release the bond to the docket. And then also I wanted to note that we have done a new child support recommendation. Ms. Mertz's obligation is $136 a month with a balance of $7,429.34, with the last payment being received in March of 2025 in the amount of $150.
All right. So it's $136 a month, but no payments have been received since March of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Mertz, what's going on?
I'd first like to apologize for falling behind on my support and for also missing my court date last year, which issued the warrant. I was actually giving birth with my latest daughter at the time, and I was unable to make the court appearance. I've given birth.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way. So go ahead.
Thank you. Over the last 2-3 years, I did welcome 2 beautiful children into the world, and I've found the daycare cost is just very expensive and not in my budget. I'm currently a full-time mom to the 2 youngest babies that I just had, and also my 13-year-old daughter, which is involved in this case. It's never been my intention to avoid my responsibilities. My financial situations have just made it very difficult. But I'm doing my best to care for my kids. I plan to return to work when my budget fits childcare cost a little bit more comfortably. I'm just asking for the court for understanding and a chance to get back on track with the support obligation.
Ms. Spillane, were any daycare costs used in the child support recommendation in order in this case?
No, but we did impute her income at minimum wage at 30 hours.
All right. Ma'am, if you have current and ongoing daycare or childcare costs, those can be taken into account in your child support requirements. So if you want to submit those to the friend of the court and see if there's a certain threshold you have to meet before there can be a change in your court order. But if you wanted to submit those costs to the friend of the court to see if it would reach that threshold, there may be a reason to update that recommendation in that court order.
Okay.
So I can offer you that.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I don't believe the 2 youngest are on this specific docket, so I don't know as though we would be able to factor in those costs for the babies.
Well, they would be on whatever other child support requirements there are. So I suppose that is true if it's just the oldest child on this one.
Yeah, it's just the oldest child on this case that I have full-time, and she doesn't have any daycare costs. It would just, I have 2 other children with someone else, not with the.
Are the 2 youngest kids subject to court orders on child support?
No.
All right. All right. Well, before I get too far ahead of myself, let me back up to the bond issue. Ms. Mertz, do you have any objection to the bond that you posted being applied to the arrears on the child support?
No, I don't.
All right, we will then do that. We'll forfeit that bond and apply it to the child support. Are you currently working right now, Ms. Mertz?
No, I'm a full-time mother. I take care of the 2 youngest and my 13-year-old daughter full-time. So no, I do not currently have employment.
Guys, because sympathy only goes so far in a courtroom. The judge starts checking the numbers, and excuses begin to lose their power fast.
How old are your youngest?
My youngest just turned 1 yesterday, and then the second youngest, she's 2, and then I have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Is it the 15-year-old that's with Mr. Mertz?
Yeah, he's with Mr. Mertz, full time.
All right. Well, here's the deal. I understand and can sympathize with the desire to stay home with your kids. But the 15-year-old is not somebody that you can just say, oh, well, close enough. That's your child too. And he's deserving of the money to properly raise and care for him as well.
I fully agree.
So your child support amount is relatively small, $136 a month. I can guarantee you that it costs more than $136 a month to raise a child. I think you know that based on the other ones that you have in your household. So that amount needs to be paid. And typically what I require from most people is if you're not going to make your payments on time and in the full amount, you have to be actively searching for employment. That means making applications to try to get employment. And I recognize that that's difficult as when you got young babies at home, but that's the reality of your circumstances. You've got a wide age range in your kids, and a 15-year-old is probably eating Mr. Mertz out of house and home.
I know he does every time he's here.
So, and I appreciate that it appears that there's a good relationship with all of your kids. I'm glad to hear that. But the child support needs to be paid. So you're going to have to come up with a plan about how to do that. And whether that allows you to stay home some or most of the time or not, that's a debt that I just can't say, oh, well, pay it when you can. It's an ongoing obligation. And I'm going to have to take some action against you if it continues to grow.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'm going to give you a month to kind of work on how you're going to do that and what your plan is going to be for the future and where you're going to go and how you're going to get those funds. So we're going to be back here in 30 days or so. Ms. Spillane will set a new date. We'll get a notice out to everybody. And I want to have a plan in place from you as to how you're going to make your monthly payments.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So whether that means you need to go out and get a part-time job or whether that means you need to get a full-time job, I don't know. That's up to you. But the payments are $136 a month?
Yes.
And so that's what needs to be paid every single month. Mr. Mertz is entitled to that. Your son is entitled to that. And that's what the court's order is. So I have to enforce that. And do you have any questions for me, Ms. Mertz?
Well, I don't exactly get support from him financially for the daughter that we share. And like you said, things are very expensive while raising children. She does have upcoming medical expenses. She has to get braces, which is quite expensive, that I also have to take into consideration with my budget. And she, there's just things like that, that I'm kind of marking down in the things that I have to plan for in my future as well.
So is the 15-year-old, is that Mason?
Yes.
And you have Serenity at your house?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Spillane, have those two things been taken into account in the child support order?
I believe so. Let me pull the file real quick and look at that.
I do have paperwork stating how much her braces will cost from her orthodontist. And I also have to figure out insurance for her so she can get that done.
So the paperwork
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Spillane.
The paperwork that I have here shows that Ms. Mertz has the children 101 overnights pursuant to their parenting time order. If they're practicing something different, it may be helpful for them to file a motion to change the parenting time order, and then a new review could be done.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like that they are doing something different, that Mr. Mertz has one child and she has the other child, which probably would change what the child support requirements are. And then if there are what are called extraordinary medical expenses, such as braces, that's not the ordinary kind of medical expenses that you would have. There's a process in the child support formula for determining a percentage of who's responsible for which, depending on the income levels of the two parties, so that you can submit those things to the friend of the court if you can't work out an agreement with Mr. Mertz. So it sounds to me like if you guys have something different happening than Ms. Mertz having 101 overnights for the two children, and that sounds like you are doing something very different than that.
Yes.
Then that needs to be resubmitted to the friend of the court for a recalculation and a new child support order going forward. And that may very well solve some of your troubles. It doesn't change anything for today. And the order continues until there's a new change made, and that's your responsibility to get that new information to the friend of the court. You can make a request and say, hey, Serenity is with me full time.
I've talked to Miss Spillane about it, and she had said something about Mr. Mertz having disagreements on it. So she had just put in what was the original agreement, and that's why it shows the 101 days per year.
That's what she's supposed to do until you either have an agreement with Mr. Mertz, or you file a motion to say, Judge, I want you to make a finding. Actually, it would be the referee first, but I want you to make a finding that Serenity is with me and Mason is with him. And then the court can issue a new order that is what the current parenting time and child custody arrangement is. And then child support is based on that.
Okay.
So you gotta follow through with the legal steps to do that. So if you can reach an agreement with Mr. Mertz about what you've done informally, then you can submit that to the friend of the court and they'll change the child support or make a recommendation to change the child support accordingly. If you can't reach an agreement with Mr. Mertz, then you need to file a motion, and Ms. Spillane has the forms to do that for you to file the motion, and that'll go in front of the referee and he'll decide what the custody and parenting time is or should be, and then child support can be changed based on that. Does that make sense?
I do, yes, and I do. She had emailed me the paperwork to fill that out, and it's been the holidays. I just have to get it turned into her, so I'll be doing that later on today.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule for next month a status conference, basically just another one, a short one of these hearings to kind of find out where we're at, to make sure that you're not just dragging your feet a little bit. Because right now the court order says that you owe $136 a month and you need to pay that. If the circumstances have changed, great, file your paperwork and we'll see where we go from there. But I don't want this to kind of drop through the cracks. I want to make sure that we keep on top of this. So I'm going to schedule another hearing next month. Ms. Spillane will send out notices to that. And then in the meantime, you need to file your paperwork if you can't reach an agreement with Mr. Mertz.
Okay.
Any other questions that you have, Ms. Mertz?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Mertz, any comments or questions that you have?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Spillane, anything else that we need to do today?
No, sir.
All right, that's all for today then. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
As medical bills and parenting time muddy the situation even more, the judge explains the legal path forward, but makes it clear nothing changes today.
Next matter is Bethany and Mark Osborne. That's file 23-19403-DM. All right, I do see Bethany Osborne is with us. Is Mark Osborne here?
He is not.
All right, Ms. Spillane, have you had any contact from Mr. Osborne about today's hearing?
No, sir.
Ms. Osborne, have you had any contact from Mark about today's hearing?
She's muted.
I'm sorry, ma'am, you're on mute still.
Okay. I have not heard from him since Christmas.
All right. Has he been paying any monies to you out of this case?
I have not received anything in over a month. He quit his job.
All right. Ms. Spillane, what do you think we should do today then?
The last contact I had with Mr. Osborne, he had indicated that he was going to be working somewhere making a lot less income, and we had started a support review. But Ms. Osborne is correct. The last payment received was in December, and it was less than half of the monthly obligation. I think a bench warrant may be appropriate in this situation.
All right. How much does he owe in arrears?
His current balance right now is $19,534.55.
All right, let's do a bench warrant with the standard 25% bond set based on his current arrearage amount. Ms. Osborne, if you have any contact from Mr. Osborne, if you would let the friend of the court know as to where he's at and what he's doing. And if not, as soon as we get a hold of him on the bench warrant, we'll try to notify you so that you can be aware of the next court dates as well. Do you have any additional questions for me, ma'am?
Well, I do know where he's at and what he's doing. Because my kids talk to him every so often. I just don't talk to him. But
Right.
It's my understanding that he did quit his job for a new job, which he told me was supposed to be better pay, not less pay. But then he failed the physical and didn't get that job. So he is just choosing not to work. But I want to remind the courts that he also has a retirement check on the 1st of every month from the VA that is $2,700. And he has told me multiple times that he refuses to pay me any money that doesn't get taken by you guys. And I know Miss Spillane has tried to help me with the VA, and the VA makes it very difficult. I was just wondering if there's any other steps there.
Unfortunately, probably not. The steps that we're taking now would include, that's why we're monitoring him now on these show causes, would be contempt of court, and jail time is the stick, basically, to get him to make his payments. The VA, and probably rightly so, is protective of the funds that come from the federal government to the veterans. But the individual veterans still have the responsibility to make the payments. So eventually it will happen. It's just a matter of going through the process to do that. So we're going to do what's called a bench warrant for his failure to appear today. That is, we'll send out a warrant to all of the police agencies and say, hey, when you see him, pick him up, bring him to the jail, and we'll schedule a court hearing based on that. He's going to, in order to get out of jail, he's going to have to pay us. The statute requires a minimum of 25% of what he owes. So there should be a payment or a check coming to you eventually based on what he owes as to that. And then we'll schedule some additional court hearings every month after that to get him in, hopefully get him in the habit of making his monthly payments as he's supposed to do. And if he doesn't, I have a series of go to jail for a short period of time every month if you don't do it kind of thing. So we've got a process in place for that. It's just getting him here to start that process going. Any other questions that you have?
Do they need to know where he's at? I mean, he lives at the same address that's on file.
All right. I can't make the police officers go out and get him.
Oh yeah, I know.
All I can do is say, hey, when you see him, pick him up. So they may do that. They may go out and get him. But I kind of doubt it. They'll probably wait till he blows through a stop sign or does something else stupid and pick him up then. So all I can do is say, hey, you didn't show up. There's an order for your arrest, and that's what we're going to do. And then when the police get him, they get him, and we'll notify you once that happens.
Okay,
All right, that's all for today then. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Next matter is Amanda Gillespie and Andrew Wolf, file 25-20065-UN. Mr. Wolf with us?
He is.
Yes, sir.
Could you put on your video, please, sir?
Yep.
All right, I do see Mr. Wolf is with us. This is a show cause hearing. Ms. Spillane, can you update me as to this matter?
Yes, sir. This is a South Carolina order that we're enforcing. It's an arrears only with a balance of $14,201.43 and an ordered on arrears of $348. This was adjourned from December 10th, where the referee had recommended that we address contempt as he felt the defendant was employed and had the ability to pay a portion of this debt, and that the defendant had also not made any diligent effort to pay anything on this debt, and gave him the option to purge with $3,500 payment, which we have not received any payment still to date.
All right, Mr. Wolf, what's going on with your payments?
Between my rent, truck payment, insurance, I have maybe $30 to $40 left out of my check. Most of that goes to gas so I can get back and forth. The child is no longer with Miss Gillespie. She is back with her mother. The mother had dropped the child support, so I owe no current. I understand. I know I have a big debt that's rearages, and I am going to try and do everything I can to get it somewhat caught up.
Tell me what it is that you're doing for work.
I'm a breakfast chef at the South End Iron Pig.
And how much do you make there per hour?
$17.
So are you working full time?
Yes. Between
So
30 and 36 hours.
All right, so you're making about $35,000 a year. Are you telling me that you can't make any payments at all based on 35 grand a year?
Like I said, what I have left out of my check, I will pay you. I mean, Miss Gillespie gets no tax.
You telling me stuff, but you haven't.
I'm behind on my bills as it is.
Why is that?
Because I don't make enough. I went to college to make money, and I cannot make the money.
Yeah, I just figured out if you're making $17 an hour, there's more than 2,000 hours in a year. So you're making $35,000 a year. What kind of bills do you have?
I have a $600 truck payment, a $200 truck insurance payment, and a $650 rent. By the time I get my check every 2 weeks, it's between $900 and $1,050. And that don't even cover my bills monthly.
Your truck is 600, your insurance is 200, and your rent is what?
$650.
So that's $1,450.
This case flips instantly when the other parent doesn't show up. Huge arrears, unpaid support, and suddenly a bench warrant is on the table.
So if I take your 35 grand, take away the taxes, that's 25 grand. I punch in your expenses for each month that you just told me, that amounts to a little over 17 grand. You got $8,000 a year So over and above your expenses, that's $666 a month that you should be able to have available to pay the court your child support arrearage. What are you doing with the $600 a month?
I don't see how it's 600 something a month, because by the time I pay my bills, if I didn't work at a restaurant, I wouldn't have no food.
What kind of truck are you driving?
A 2011 Ram.
And you're paying $600 a month for it?
Yeah, I got it from a dealership.
Why in the world would you buy a truck that costs you $600 a month?
I needed the vehicle so I can get back and forth to work, so I didn't lose everything again. I'm tired of starting over.
Are you telling me that you can't find a vehicle for less than $600 a month?
At the moment, no.
You're
I
out
could
of your
buy one of
mind.
those.
You're absolutely out of your mind. I'm 63 years old. I've never paid $600 a month in my life. I don't buy a new vehicle. I don't buy a big vehicle. I buy a vehicle that gets me back and forth to work.
I understand that.
$600 a month for transportation is ridiculous.
I know.
You can buy a new truck for $600 a month. Sell that sucker and get yourself something that you can drive back and forth to work with.
I understand that, but if I let the truck go, then that's going to put me farther back, my credit back, and with the credit that I have now, it's 485. I don't understand. I'm lost.
What you're telling me is you made a bunch of bad decisions about where your money goes, and now you're crying to me about it.
No, I'm not crying, Your Honor. I'm trying to let you understand that I am struggling. I barely have my head above water.
How much do you owe on this truck?
11,000
How long have you been paying on it?
a year. I've been at my job a year. I got this truck right after I started this job.
All I can tell you is that's a really bad decision on 35 grand a year to pay $600 a month for a truck. In addition, what you've told me so far is you've got $600 from what I can tell. I took off your taxes and I took out your expenses that you told me, and you've got $660 some a month to live on, and you're making zero payments to me. I don't know where you're spending your money or what you're doing with it, but I think you've got enough money to make some payments, and you better start making them or you're going to end up in jail. I mean, because that's the only other option that I have. It's called contempt of court. The referee already made a determination that he thinks because you're employed, basically what I'm telling you is you're not making a diligent effort to make your child support payments. You're spending it on stupid stuff.
Understood, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know that you do understand, because if you did, you'd be making some payments instead of me having to decide whether or not I send you to jail.
Please don't send me to jail, Your Honor.
Well, then start making some payments.
I get paid today. As soon as I get out of work, I go to the bank and I'll call the friend of court. I just won't make my truck payment.
You do whatever you need to do, but stop making silly purchases that worsen your financial condition. I mean, if you need to go talk to somebody about how to regulate your income and how to make wise decisions, there are people in this community that can help you with that. DHHS may be able to assist you with some services, or you may be able to find somebody that they can send you to help you with financial decision making. You can go online and talk to people like Dave Ramsey and figure out how to make your money stretch and learn how to make your payments appropriately. Get out of bad debt. But you've got to put forth the effort. I can't hold your hand in this process, dude. You're an adult. This is what adults do. They learn how to deal with life.
Understood,
so I'm going to schedule this for next month. And if you haven't made your payment in full for next month, I'm going to put you in jail for 7 days. And then I'll schedule it for the next month. And if you don't make your payment in full that month, I'll put you in jail for another 7 days. I don't know how else to get it through to you. The referee told you to do it. You didn't do anything. Now I'm telling you to do it. And if you're not going to do it, there's going to be a consequence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do what you need to do. Get this thing paid off. Start making your payments every month. If you're, as long as you're making payments, if something big comes along and you get hospitalized or get in a car accident or whatever, then I can give you some grace. I can say, all right, you've been making your payments. I can give you a little bit of room to wiggle here. But when you haven't been making any payments at all, you don't give me much choice other than to reach for the hammer.
Understood, Your Honor.
So let's start making some payments, build up some good faith in the system, and then we can go from there. All right, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you next month. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
There's nobody in the waiting room and there's no other cases. We're early for the Clement case.
All right, so that'd be the last one?
Yep.
That's not till 10:30, so
I do not have.
no Haddix or Vandercook?
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna call that case.
Or.
All right. Next matter is Kayla Haddix and Christopher Vandercook, file 21-18452-DS. It's originally scheduled for 9:30. It is now 10:01. Ms. Spillane, have you had any contact from Ms. Haddix?
No, sir. However, the payments have been coming in, actually exceeding her monthly obligation, so I would be comfortable with dismissing this case.
Let's do that then. That works out just fine. All right, and then we have at 10:30 the Clement case, so the court will be in recess until that matter
Your
is.
I
Yes,
have Rudd versus Neeland that was supposed to be in the 9:15 docket.
did I miss that one?
See ya.
I think so.
All right. This is the matter of Caitlin Rudd and Zachary Neeland, file 17-16887-DP. Neither party are present. This matter was set for show cause today at 9:15. It is now 10:05. Looks like notice was sent out from the friend of the court's office for today's hearing, dated September 29th of 2025, to Mr. Neeland at 3500 Woodland Court in Elmira, which is the same address that he has had for a number of months with the on file with the court. Ms. Spillane, where are we at with this case?
So he was last before you on September 26th, and we had adjourned to monitor his efforts to obtain employment and make payments. I have not had any contact with Mr. Neeland since then. The last payment was in May of 25 in the amount of $600, and his balance is currently sitting at $697.29. Support is still currently abated as he had been incarcerated for some time, so that we would also ask that you refer child support to friend of the court so we can do a new review and potentially start getting some income back in.
Who was the gentleman that we had from the rehab facility?
That was Mr. Newton.
Okay, I got those two mixed up. That's why I passed the Neeland case, because I thought we'd done that with Mr. Newton. All right, it does appear to me that Mr. Neeland has not made his payments, and we were holding we were doing abatement, and it appears that that should be referred to the friend of the court for a new recommendation. So we will do that. Is there any other relief that you'd request, Ms. Spillane?
Not at this point. I think maybe if we could adjourn it out just to see what happens with this new recommendation, maybe 3 months or so.
I'm just wondering if we need to do anything on the show cause for his failure to appear. Let's set an order to show cause in 3 months on his failure to appear at today's hearing. And then we'll also consider the status of the new recommendation that you're going to make based on the taking off the abatement. And we'll deal with all of that at the same time in 3 months.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you helping me out with that. All right. Court will be in recess.
Because the judge dismantles every excuse dollar by dollar. Bad financial choices meet real consequences, with jail looming if payments don't start. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.